release. As I was telling you in the last news videos that I filmed a couple days ago, there's so many new things in the press about Hello Kitty Island Adventure, so many reviews that are very positive, but also a few new interviews where the people interviewed the devs of Hello Kitty Island Adventure and giving us some very cool insight about how they made it, and sometimes even revealing what will be in the future. And they also released new trailers for the game with unreleased stuff yet, so let's have a look at them. So first of all, I will start with a message from Sunblink, the developers of Hello Kitty Island Adventure, on Steam. Best first day ever and some gifts to you. So if you go into the mail inside of the game, you'll get some gifts. But the most important thing here is we managed to get Steam Deck verified. If you have a Steam Deck, enjoy the super smooth performance, top-notch controls, and a great portable UX. Unfortunately, I have not seen it mentioned in the categories on Steam, but apparently it's now Steam Deck compatible. So on the Nintendo YouTube channel, there's a new video for the game that's called Room for One More, and it shows two different age siblings playing together, and that's so wholesome. You should check it out. And at 12 seconds we can see a new helmet that is a new item that probably will come in the Imagination Celebration. And then on the Sunblink YouTube channel, there is a console launch trailer. And in the past, I have said that some of the new trailers are a bit boring and just some game footage. And this one is so epic and so crazy and so fast-paced, and wow, that was incredible. Unfortunately, there's a lot of angles that we will never see because the camera is always fixed. But have a look at this. And there's so many new things. At 26 seconds, you can see new under-the-sea furnitures. There's the carpet and a divider and this crab. How cute is that? I'm not even sure if it's a new critter or a plushie. I don't know, I love it. And then at 59 seconds you can see the springtime celebration kimono that we've also been seen teased somewhere else. And at 1 minute also the new helmet again. And at 104, 107 and 116 this seems like there's some kind of Robin Hood costume, and this might also be for the Imagination Celebration, and that looks super fun. Now there's a reel on Instagram that is from Sanrio and Hello Kitty, and it addresses the fact that it was so anticipated to be released on other platforms. It was such a joke. At some point maybe they must have stopped posting anything. When the account Hello Kitty or Sanrio posted anything about Hello Kitty Island Adventure, they would be spammed by comments saying, release this on Switch, release this on Android, and that was the nice ones. Some of them were insulting them for not even considering putting it on other platforms, so they only put the good ones on this video, but that's very fun, a very nice video. There's another video that says adventure mode on and off on Sunblink, and also what would you do in day one into playing. And on CNN, there's actually a video with an interview of Chelsea, and that's super cool. She talks a lot about the game, but we don't really see any insights or anything, but it's cool to see her face if you did not know what Chelsea looked like. I'm talking, of course, about Chelsea Howe, the Chief Product Officer at Sunblink, the developers of Hello Kitty Island Adventure. And then you can see the Nintendo eShop charts for February 1st, and for all games, it's the 3rd for the regular version and the 5th for the deluxe version, and on download only games it's the 1st, and that's an amazing launch. And you can see apparently it was an amazing launch on Steam also. I've seen basically every cozy gamer YouTuber talking about this game, so this is definitely the one game that everybody's looking at the moment, and I'm so happy. Now let's dive more into some of the articles, and we're going to learn a lot of new things and behind the scenes stuff. So now an article from Inverse titled Nintendo Switch just quietly released the cozy game of the decade. This is actually something. Wow. It's a full belief that a lot of folks have that Hello Kitty is strictly like a very young girl's brand. That's not actually true, Blind says. A lot of adult women grew up with Hello Kitty and are still fans of the brand. Additionally, there's the rise of cozy games being very popular around all groups of people, including what we will traditionally call core gamers, people who like harder games. Considering the breadth of weird little guys in Sanrio worlds, there's a little mascot for everyone. everyone, from Gudetama's laziness to the appeal of the clumsy dog Pochaco. Blind says he personally likes Chococat the best, who seems to have a solution for every problem. And Nintendo, it seems, is perfectly comfortable with this slightly off-kilter Sanrio extravaganza landing on the Switch. We've been very happy working with Nintendo. Tom Blind, Hello Kitty developer Sunblink's chief commercial officer, tells in verse, "They have been very gracious and very helpful in terms of getting ported over the Switch and getting the word out there that it's coming." And then, Let's Go is far from the start of the game, and player must brave quite a few problems before getting to her. Line explains that it was intentional, and in some ways, this is the first time she's entering the universe of Hello Kitty. We even considered not having her on the airplane and making it a total surprise later when you run into her, Tom Blind says, but we decided that it's good for players to know upfront that she's there, she exists. You should go find her, but it's kind of an Easter egg. Oh, by the way, I will not read all the articles, but all the very cool things, and I will link all the articles in the description so you can go read the rest for yourself. And on CG Mag Online, Sunblink Studios and Hello Kitty Island Adventure, a perfect pair for cozy haven. And it's a sit down with Chief Product Officer Chelsea Howe. How did Sunblink end up with such a major IP like Hello Kitty under their belt? Chelsea Howe. Sunblink knew the type of game we wanted to make. Cozy adventure that blended the best of life Sims game with open world adventure mechanics. We'd already been working with Apple, and when they wanted to collaborate with Sanrio, we realized what a perfect fit Hello Kitty was for our gameplay vision. Sunblink put together the initial prototype and everyone sensed it had enormous potential. The rest is history. What has the reaction been like? We believed the game would be big, but the response has blown us away. Our biggest point of pride has been the 4.9 star average out of 5 across 100,000 reviews. That's about the clearest measure you can get of the value and the quality fans sees in a game. We've also been thrilled by the critical response with award nominations like the Mobile Game of the Year from the Game Award and DICE Award and the Pop Culture Presents. There is an outpouring of quotes about the game title, a penny arcade comic. We were even in the Apple homepage. And I looked up the penny arcade comic and here it is. I'm not even sure it's okay for YouTube, I think it is. Now, Hello Kitty Island Adventure is coming out for Nintendo Switch and PC. What is like to bring a game to a brand new platform after its initial release? What goes into that and what kind of challenges did your team face? When we first showed the Switch version at Summer Game Fest, the game had been out on Apple Arcade for over a year. It was so rewarding to go back to the beginnings and watch players experience the game for the very first time on new platforms. Seeing that initial delight was so gratifying. Perhaps the most challenging aspect of the multi-platform release was preparing all of our live service content so far in advance. Because we strive to keep all platforms on the same cadence of events, we initially had to prepare the first half of 2025 events during the summer of 2024 while we were finishing content for the PC and Switch versions. The map in Hello Kitty Island Adventure is, quite frankly, massive. Was that always the plan from the start, and how did the team navigate how to put the map on full display, including the different ways to traverse the island, gliding, swimming, diving, etc., and different perspective as you move around? A great open world adventure requires a great open world. The scale was always intended. See What You See is actually about 2/3 of the original design, and introducing new form of transversal through gameplay was core to the vision. In particular, we wanted swimming to be a major differentiator. We love the idea of seamlessly becoming a mermaid and diving into coral reefs, mysterious caves, and towering kelp forests. What does she mean by 2/3 of the original design? Does she mean that, for example, all the inside caves and the Merry Meadow and the icy peak that are different on the map, is that the last third, or is the new island another third, or did they kind of chopped down some ideas and leave it on the cutting board floor like we say? That's very interesting, I'm wondering. Getting the camera perspective to feel nice has definitely been an ongoing challenge. When a few players reported motion sickness in the Merry Meadow area, we completely redid the camera setup to make it more accessible. It takes a lot more bespoke work than folks think, but we're lucky to have a community that helps ensure sure we hit the mark. Can we expect new content like in-game events, more Sanrio characters, or more in the future? What does the future of Hello Kitty Island Adventure look like? Hello Kitty Island Adventure is a living world, one where there's always something to look forward to next. Events will continue with new and exciting twists and items each year. Sanrio favorites will make appearances, both as cameos and new residents, and of course there are always big new things on the horizon, like the new island beyond Friendship Island. When we released, we hope the game will last for years and have enough content and story to keep it exciting long term. As long as people are playing, we'll keep creating. Any special characters we haven't seen yet that may come to the game later? Let's just say we pay a lot of attention to the annual Sanrio character ranking. Okay, let me pull it up and see, because I thought we had everyone already in the top. So I'm looking at the Japanese ranking. First is Cinnamoroll, then Pachako, then Kuromi, then Pompompurin, Hello Kitty, My Melody, Karakurupi, Hankyo Dontukse, the Sam Little Twin Stars. Then Pako, Kojimin is 12, then Batsmaru, then Hanamaru Obake, and I think that she said that this one is a collab character and it kind of come. Then Witch Mimal, then Gudetama, then My Sweet Piano, and then Kirimi-chan. I think she mentioned Kirimi-chan several times in the interview, saying like there's a character that is like a piece of sashimi. Kurokuro Kuririn, and then Usahana. And so there's at least 4 in the top 20 that we do not have yet. Then the next one that we have is 28, Dear Daniel, as a visitor, and La Romantic. Definitely those 4 maybe are on the next possible list. Interesting. Good. And just for fun, what is your favorite piece in Hello Kitty Island Adventure? And she said, personally, I love breeding flowers in the meadows. I was able to make an iridescent white hibiscus, and I want to turn the blossom into a crown I can wear. It's fun to open the game every morning and see what the new things bloom overnight. It's a perfect little dose of joy with breakfast. And I totally agree. I think this is totally my favorite thing in Hello Kitty Island Adventure so far. I've unlocked everything else, and so I'm just so happy looking at my flowers daily. And at first I was like, OMG, there's several tens of thousands of flowers, and now it's like, OMG, I got 30 new flowers this week. That's amazing. This is just a change of perspective that is very much cozier for me as a completionist. But secretly, I still hope that I will eventually catch up. But also I know that it will keep adding more flowers until I catch up. And so, yeah. And then on Sportskida, I had never heard about this website. They have an interview with Logan Beru, the director of marketing at Sunblink, and Chelsea Howe, the chief product officer. And the article says, we hope that there can be a nice cozy place to calm down Hello Kitty Island Adventure devs on goals for the game, Sanrio input, and more exclusive. So Sunblink's Logan Beru and Chelsea Howe on Hello Kitty Island Adventure's development. It's such a fantastic thing to see such a small studio not only having access but keeping true to such a massive IP like Sanrio / Hello Kitty Island Adventure. What's the secret sauce to the success? Was the team already fan of the Sanrio characters? We owe a lot to Apple and Sanrio and the trust they've put in us. We launched the game on Apple Arcade prior to Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Hero-ish, that showed Apple we were a small but mighty developer capable of making polished quality experiences. That trust, combined with a persuasive prototype, earned our team the honor of bringing Hello Kitty to life in an unprecedented way. While a few of us were already fans from the onset, we've all gotten sucked into the world of Sanrio. I know for myself personally, I didn't know much about Sanrio's world before we started the project, but I was immediately charmed by all the characters, and I know more now than I ever thought possible. It's a Sunblink, and it doesn't say if it's Logan or Chelsea answering, unfortunately. There's a lot of talk about inclusivity going on right now, so there's perhaps never been a better time to re-release Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Was there any worry about making this game non-binary coded and gender inclusive, such as backlash from certain members of the gaming community? Many of Sanrio's values revolve around friendship, kindness, and inclusivity, so it was never questioned of whether inclusivity should fit in the game. Not only would a form of gender restriction feel feels silly at best, but an approach of inclusion and respect is just the right thing to do. Plus, considering how approachable Sanrio's characters are, the designs for a Sanrio-style character creator fits perfectly in a way where all kinds of players could see themselves reflected. Yeah, there's actually no genders. You can just pick your animal the way you want, and there's nothing that is girl-coded or boy-coded. So this is amazing. There's more to Hello Kitty Island Adventure that you might find in other cozy games. There's fun puzzles, races, quests, and relationships to explore. How did you decide to design this kind of content for a Hello Kitty game? We actually started with the game we wanted to make, which was a cozy escape with a wide range of activities and quests. It turns out Hello Kitty was a fantastic fit, which really gave us a lot of rich inspiration to layer in. That's so interesting. So it could be just regular random players? Like characters in the nothing world, like they totally invented. And the fact that it's not just putting an IP on it like some people would say. It's like they integrated it so well. This is amazing. In blending cozy life sims with open world adventure, we were able to cover a huge range of player motivations, which we saw reflected in the cast of Hello Kitty and Friends. Our studio is relatively diverse and everyone's been able to find a character that they resonate with. On that note, what kind of input did Sanrio have when it came to Hello Kitty Island Adventure? Were there any musts that simply had to be included, or were you given free rein? There is a lot of musts surrounding some of the characters and how they could be portrayed, from what they were called, to the colors associated with them, to what kinds of storyline they could be a part of, even to what specific words they could or couldn't say, which, considering how long many of these characters have been around, makes sense. On the opposite end of the spectrum, some characters like Big Challenges were a completely blank slate. Only one image of him existed when we started the game, so we got to work together with some of the writer of Super Cute Adventures, as well as Sanrio Haikyuu in Japan, to figure out how we would act, look, and speak. Props to Sanrio HQ for suggesting Gao Gao, everyone loves it. Sanrio gave us a lot of free rein when it comes to the concept and game design itself, and continues to trust us with anything gameplay related, but all character related content, models, icons, dialogue, design intent, goes through them for approval. We've almost always been able to find solutions that suit a shared vision. We've almost always. When was the case? I'm interested in something super cool. Apparently, back in the days, Chelsea said, oh, we can never have some Hello Kitty bows on her head or anything because it's only for Hello Kitty and Mimi, and that's it. This is how they viewed it. And then there was the flowers, I think the flower crown, and they said we can only put 2 or 3 on the crown because just one would be too close to that, and Sanrio doesn't let us do that. And then suddenly we have Hello Kitty bow accessory like head clip. Chelsea said, well, we saw so many of the other characters having this Hello Kitty bow for the 50th anniversary, so we went back and asked, and they caved in and said yes. So this is how we got that in game. This is so cool, honestly. Were there any major challenges that went into the design of the game, and if so, how did your team solve them? From a design perspective, 2 things stick out. First, we created the game without the 2 most common staples of progression design: a unified soft currency, something like coins for instance, and player XP. Instead of a single soft currency, the whole game works off a barter system. Some clothes cost thread and sand dollars, some cost fabric and sparks, and so on. When we were creating this world centered around friendship, all the nickel and diming of a unified currency just fell off and didn't make thematic sense, but it was a challenge from a design standpoint. This made tuning quite a bit more difficult, but in the end we believe it makes the game interactions feels more natural and allows us to have more interesting moments in the game. Early players might really need rubber, mid-game players might need magma bloom, late-game players might need strawberry crates. On the player XP side, again leaning into the idea of friendship as North Star, we instead made progress all about your relationship with other characters. Some take a long time to build a friendship, others are easy, and every player's path is different. Again, we thought that autonomy felt more natural and true to life than a more arbitrary artificial player XP. Second, we always knew we wanted the game to revolve around gifting, and that the gift's value came down to how much a character liked it. In the launch version of the game, you know what a character likes immediately. In early prototypes version, you had to use trial and error by giving different gifts to slowly get to know what each character prefers. While the early version was more true to life, we ultimately found that it was too confusing and much less fun. In the end, the fun wins over what might be more true to life. Our design philosophy is always to be kind to players, and that means no FOMO. Events will always come back, and quests will happily hang out in your log until you're ready for them. You don't need to collect everything every day because it will just come back tomorrow, and you can always ask the Null or your bestie for help collecting. Take it at your own pace. If you want to spend hours on it one day but only a few minutes the next, both of those work. Just think of a full quest log as a promise of fun for the future. I really like this, actually. Nice vision. Was there any pressure to put microtransactions in any release of Hello Kitty Island Adventure? Apple Arcade has absolutely no microtransactions, and we aim for parity across platforms, so we never considered it for the game. We've had a few reviews that mention wanting to be able to buy certain in-game items with real money, which certainly surprised us. We're glad players are finding value in the game. And then the most interesting is the Screen Rant article. Hello Kitty Island Adventure developer talks, major innovation on the horizons for the cozy game. When it came to the Switch port itself, what were the trickiest part of bringing that to fruition? Was it just working out bugs between OSs, or were there other challenges you did not necessarily expect? The good news is that we have to support a very broad range of devices on arcade. Usually going to especially a handheld platform, you always have to think about performances, optimization, memory, all of those fun nitty-gritty things. That was an order of magnitude more complicated because we're introducing updates on arcade in real time. Usually, a lot of the ways that you optimize is by chunking things into different groups, into different optimized structure. However, since we're constantly adding more stuff to that, the team really struggled with figuring out how to compartmentalize and optimize Switch as we were continuing development on arcade. I would say that was the standout challenge. The other thing was that we had been designing for devices that were broadly touched, right? The percentage of people who were playing on arcade with controllers or keyboard and mouse was quite low. Obviously, that's totally different on Switch. We basically fully redid our UI interaction schemas. We wanted the controller to feel 100% first class, to be shining in its own right. We wanted Switch gameplay to feel super intuitive, super natural. That required months of going back through all of our UI, which hasn't been made into the most extensible way, and having to revisit that and make them able to really ensure a positive experience on Switch. Just a few caveats. The Switch release won't have CD down in it, so the Switch cutoff is the 1.9 update, which was right before CD down. Essentially, we didn't want to put anything on the console that was going to feel incomplete, and we knew that CD down was going to be getting a bunch of investment, so CD down is not part of Switch. The release cadence on Switch is also going to be different than arcade, just because Nintendo pipeline, Nintendo processing, Nintendo promotional schedules, all of those are very different than arcade. People on different platforms can experience a different release cadence, but the goal is gameplay parity, and all of the content will come to all platforms eventually. When we spoke at Summer Game Fest, you mentioned how the game has 2 years roadmap ahead of it. Obviously, we've gone through about 7 months of that 2 years at this point, but are you able to give any insights or sneak peeks into what roadmap is looking like for you guys now? Basically, the more people are playing and enjoying, we just keep extending on that. It gets further the further out you go, but we definitely have big things on the horizon. We've got a few new characters that folks are going to see, at least one coming up in the next 6 months period. Alongside a new character, there will be some interesting and quirky new little areas that we're introducing. We just released CD Down, and so we're focusing more on investing in CD Down for the upcoming updates as opposed to releasing an entire brand new area. But there is a mystery involved in City Town, and we do hope that players will get that payoff. Either late this year, probably early next year, depending on how much we want to put into City Town. Initially, we thought that we were going to unlock the rest of the island much earlier this year. However, once we released City Town, people were really invested and were like, I want things in all of these storefronts, I want to have more mechanics within the city, I want blah blah blah. We figured that it would be worth it to just take time and really flesh out the feeling of that city, solidifying as its own space separate from what's happening on Friendship Island. And we've had a lot of fun doing that. You saw the first new storefront just last week with our 2.3 update. We introduced the piano plush pals, so you get the opportunity to go all in and make really cute stuffed animals that you can then customize. That's one of several storefronts that we are starting to think about and will be coming up again in that next fuzzy 6 months period. I always love to hear about interviews of Chelsea and the other people in the Sunblink team. This has been super fun to read all that, and I love seeing interviews. And I got myself the chance of interviewing Chelsea twice, so if you want to look at these interviews, she's revealing very cool stuff and behind the scenes and things like that, and she's just a super fun person to talk with. So I totally encourage you to go watch these 2 videos here and see you there. Bye bye!